Hi, welcome to this short video tutorial. Today, we're going to be talking about integrating into SuiteCX from other sources. And in particular, today we're going to talk about a Miro integration. So we have heard from a lot of our clients that they are starting their work, maybe starting with sticky note workshops or with a rough draft journey map, and they're using a tool outside of their standard PowerPoint or physical sticky notes, and they're using something like Visio for process diagrams or Miro or Bluescape. And so what we've done is we've created a proof of concept around how you can start in these other tools and then easily migrate into SuiteCX. So for example, when we teach about moving into SuiteCX and creating maps in SuiteCX, we usually say that our beginning point comes from generally 4 different places. The first would be building an inventory map right in SuiteCX and actually creating your database of touch points from which you can then build your story maps. A second proof of concept would be the Visio diagram. So we have many companies come to us and they say, oh, we have like all these Visio diagrams and we'd love to migrate them over. That's kind of method number 2. And then Miro, hey, we're using Miro. How do you integrate with Miro? And then you could start directly in SuiteCX by using our simple backgrounds and using our sticky note capabilities. So I'm not going to show you all of these today. The Visio to Lucid to SuiteCX proof of concept is very straightforward and it's similar to what we're doing today, but today we're real specifically diving into Miro. So what I'm going to do is sort of take you in logical order of events. So first things first, I'm in Miro right now and I've created a pretty simple experience map using the Miro features. And I have some activities going on across sort of a linear concept here of timeline. And I have different departments being involved. So I have like an awareness phase and I have a consideration phase. And I have these digital touch points. Some of them are digital, some of them are non-digital, but I have these touch points sort of going on across these life cycle phases. And then I have some metrics, and then I have a indicator of where I may have a pain point or maybe a gain point. I think that's a Miro terminology, which could be a moment of truth. And then I also have some teams identified here, like the marketing team, the digital team, and the sales and events team. So the cool thing is Miro and Lucid Charts and really all these other tools, Bluescape, they all allow you to do a CSV extract. So you can take the work out of your working environment in these tools and you can download them into a CSV file. So when you do that, the CSV file is actually exactly what we need to integrate into SuiteCX, which is really cool. So what I've done here is I've sort of prepared this already, but I did an extract out of Miro and it gave me all my touch points and the life cycle phases. And then I just took that information and I copied and pasted it into the upload that we use in SuiteCX. So now that I've done that, I could add to this. I just kind of did a real basic where I pulled through the title, life cycle, department, and I added an icon that I thought would be good. And then I think I added something else. Okay, so I added some findings like the metric that we had and a couple other items. And then I added a findings category and I thought, okay, that's good. That's a good point for me to transition to SuiteCX. And I can always add more information later after I get into SuiteCX. So now that I've pulled my extract from Miro and I've populated the right fields in my SuiteCX upload, then I can basically migrate myself over to SuiteCX. So I'm going to do that. Now in SuiteCX, I've already set up this map for you just in order to save a little bit of time. So I'll click into this map. Now this map is essentially the same thing that you saw in Miro. I'm just going to move this screen over here so I can still see it on my other screen. And now it's just represented in SuiteCX. So each of those sort of dots that you saw or squares in Miro becomes an eye point in SuiteCX. And you can start by using these sticky notes if you want. So you might say, well, I'm still in my idea session part of this. I'm still getting feedback. I'm still collecting information. I might add some eye points later. Well, then you could always start with the sticky note concept. And the sticky notes will allow you to get that workshop feel in SuiteCX. And then once you think you've done enough with regards to having sticky notes and adding as many as you need, then you can easily convert your sticky notes into SuiteCX designed interaction points. And I just did that just by toggling from sticky note to default SuiteCX eye point. So now I'm in SuiteCX. I've got each of my little touches laid out here. The metrics that I had pulled through, I've got showing in these list managers along with other findings. If you would like to link back to your Miro so that team members can see where your work is and what you've done, you can add a link into the eye points. So this would give me a link right back to that Miro. So I'll just click on that and then boom, there it is. So people who are collaborating with you can click into where you were, your source file essentially, and then back to the map. And then I'll just show you a couple of the other features that might be appropriate at this stage before you're doing a really complex layered map. You're really just doing sort of a starting point rough draft. So another thing we can do, you can embed the Miro board directly into SuiteCX using some iframe technology. Basically, you're just copying and pasting the iframe embed code from Miro, and that again is native. Miro will natively allow you to do that without any big deal. Or you could just upload a static image if you don't think you need a dynamic version of Miro inside your Miro translation map, or you can just drop the references to Miro altogether and you can move forward with your journey map. I also added some creative elements down here. So in this example, what we're doing is we're talking about basically a digital experience where we start with a conquest ad, then we go to a website landing page, we use the contact us form, we view a demo of a product, we submit our information, maybe we attend an event pertaining to that product or some competitive products or technology related to it. We have a sales follow up, we do an RFI, and then an RFP. So down here, I have some creative images that are similar to what we're doing. We've got a conquest ad, a landing page with a request a live demo feature, contact us, an event, and then also a RFP. And then down at the bottom, I saved some room for some metrics. So this is just a typical layered map in SuiteCX. And we also have our emotional heat map here. Now I could go in here and just, now that I'm in SuiteCX, I can continue to evolve this map. So now that I've got it set up, I can start to kind of tag things. Well, we know from our Miro workshop that we had, we know that this conquest ad has a pain point associated with it. So let's tag this with a pain point and hit save. And then let's go describe why this is a pain point. So the reason this is a pain point is because these are expensive. So we can add that right in SuiteCX and hit save. We also knew that view a demo had an associated pain point. So I can open this up and click on the pain point, go to the descriptor comments. And why is this a pain point? This is a pain point because we require an email address. Customers don't really like that necessarily. Save and close. So, you can sort of continue to do that workshop look and feel, except you can do it in SuiteCX. And some of the things I just added manually, I could have added into my upload file at the very beginning, right here in the descriptors field. We also have a place for segments. So if you did a front stage map and a backstage map, and maybe you had two different personas involved with two different sets of steps, you could delineate those by using our segment tags. So really just infinite capabilities here, very easy to natively integrate. And do reach out to us if you have any questions. We're also working with Bluescape and doing some native Bluescape integrations to help get you started and then convert you over to SuiteCX, where you can do some more robust mapping and take advantage of all of our more advanced capabilities around findings, recommendations, voice of customer, prioritize initiatives, and roadmap. Okay, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Do reach out if you have any questions at all.